Correct your brothers. Most men say they want brotherhood, but what they really want is comfort. They want company without accountability. They want loyalty without truth. They want friends who clap when they win, but stay silent when they're drifting toward ruin. That is not brotherhood. That is a drinking circle. That is a crowd. That is weakness with witnesses. A brother is not someone who helps you stay the same. A brother is someone who refuses to let you rot. A brother will pull you back into line when you start slipping. A brother will tell you the truth when your ego begs for lies. A brother will hold you to the standard you claimed you lived by. And yes, it will be uncomfortable, because real brotherhood has friction. Real brotherhood has correction. Real brotherhood has weight. It's not built on feelings. It's built on trust. And trust is built when you know the men around you will not let you embarrass yourself with weakness. Most men avoid correction because they fear conflict. They fear being disliked. They fear losing the friendship. So they stay silent, watch their friend collapse, and then pretend they couldn't do anything. That silence is not peace, it's cowardice. If you see your brother getting soft, getting addicted, getting sloppy, getting arrogant, getting reckless, getting bitter, and you say nothing, you are part of his downfall. You're not his brother, you're a spectator. This is leadership. Not in public, in private, in the difficult moments where you choose truth over comfort. So I'm going to give you laws. You follow these laws, and you will become the kind of man other men respect. Not because you're loud, because you have backbone, because you protect your circle from weakness, because you understand that brotherhood is a forge, not a daycare. Law 1. Loyalty is truth, not silence. Weak men think loyalty means agreeing with everything. They think loyalty means defending bad behavior. They think loyalty means ignoring problems so nobody gets uncomfortable. That is not loyalty. That is betrayal disguised as politeness. Real loyalty is telling the truth when it costs you something. Real loyalty is being willing to risk tension to save a man from himself. Real loyalty is saying, "Brother, you're off track," even if he gets defensive. Because if you let a man keep walking toward the cliff, you didn't protect him. You watched him fall. Silence protects the ego for a moment. Truth protects the man for a lifetime. Law 2. Correct early, not after the damage. Most men wait until things explode. They wait until the relationship is destroyed. They wait until the job is lost. They wait until the addiction is deep. They wait until the body is ruined. They wait until the man is embarrassed publicly. Then they suddenly want to speak. Too late. Correction works best when it's early. Small shifts are easier than total rebuilds. A disciplined brother doesn't wait for disaster. He notices patterns. He notices drift. He notices excuses becoming normal. He notices standards slipping. Then he speaks quietly, directly, early. A small correction today prevents a major collapse tomorrow. That is what leadership looks like inside a brotherhood. Law 3. Correct privately unless the man brings shame publicly. There is a code to this. If a brother is struggling privately, you correct privately. You protect his dignity while you challenge his behavior. You speak man to man. No audience, no humiliation, no performance, because the goal is not to win. The goal is to help him rise. But if a man brings shame publicly, if he disrespects the group, if he undermines standards in front of others, you correct him where the offense happened. Calm, firm, no emotion, no insult, just clarity. Because public weakness spreads. If you let it pass, you teach the group that the standard is negotiable. This is the balance. Protect the man's dignity, but protect the standard even more. Law 4. Be specific. Attack the behavior, not his identity. Most men correct the wrong way. They correct with insults. They correct with anger. They correct with vague statements that mean nothing. You're lazy. You're weak. You're stupid. That's not correction. That's a fight. A real brother is precise. He says, you keep missing training and calling it busy. That's an excuse. He says, you've been drinking every weekend and you're getting sloppy. He says, you keep complaining, but you refuse to do the work. He says, you're chasing attention and it's embarrassing. He says, you promised you'd handle your responsibilities and you didn't. Specific behavior, clear pattern, clear consequence. When you attack a man's identity, he will defend his ego. When you address behavior, he has a chance to see reality and correct it. You're not trying to crush him. You're trying to wake him up. Law 5. Correct with calm, not emotion. Emotion makes correction dirty. When you correct from anger, you're not guiding. You're venting. When you correct to feel superior, you're not helping. You're feeding your ego. When you correct in a dramatic way, you turn the moment into theater. A brotherhood does not need theater, it needs standards. So, stay calm. Calm voice, short sentences, no ranting, no lectures that never end. Say what's true, say what needs to change, and then stop talking. The calm man has authority. The emotional man looks unstable. If you want your brother to listen, you must speak like a man who is in control. Law 6. Offer a path, not just criticism. Some men love calling people out. They do it because it makes them feel powerful. They criticize, then they walk away. That is not brotherhood. Correction without a path becomes shame. Shame without a path becomes resentment. Resentment becomes rebellion. A real brother corrects and then guides, not by carrying him, but by giving him something practical. A plan, a standard, a next step, a clear action. You're missing training. Here's the minimum. 3 sessions a week, no excuses. I'll meet you Monday. You're broke and panicking. Track spending today. Build a simple budget. Cut the stupid leaks. You're drifting. Pick one goal. Commit for 30 days. I want to see proof. Then you follow up. Brotherhood is not one conversation. Brotherhood is consistent pressure. Pressure is not cruelty. Pressure is love with backbone. Law 7. If he refuses correction, change his access to you. This is where weak men fail. They keep giving loyalty to men who refuse standards. They keep staying close to men who are sinking. They keep letting bitterness and laziness infect the circle. Because they're afraid of being alone. Listen to me. You are not obligated to stay close to a man who refuses to grow. You are not obligated to keep someone in your inner circle who keeps choosing weakness. You can care about him. You can love him as a man. You can wish him well. But you do not let him poison your life. If you correct him clearly more than once and he keeps choosing the same pattern, then you create distance. You limit access. You stop sharing your time and energy with someone who keeps disrespecting the standard. Why? Because standards are contagious, and so is weakness. A man who refuses correction is telling you he wants comfort more than growth. If you stay close, you will slowly normalize that comfort. It will seep into you. Protect your edge. Now let me tell you something deeper. Correction is not only about the man you're speaking to. It's about who you are becoming. When you correct a brother the right way, You build leadership inside yourself. You build courage, you build honesty, you build responsibility. Because it's easy to be supportive when everything is fine. It's easy to smile and nod. It's easy to say, "I'm here for you," and never say the hard thing. But saying the hard thing is the test. A leader is a man who can create clarity in messy situations. A leader is a man who can do what is right, even when it creates tension. Brotherhood is where you practice that. And here's another truth most men ignore. If you want brothers who correct you, you must invite correction. You can't demand honesty from others if you punish them when they tell you the truth. You can't ask men to hold you accountable if you become defensive every time they speak. So you need a standard for yourself. When a brother corrects you, you listen. You don't interrupt. You don't justify. You don't explain. You take it in. You ask, "What did you see?" Then you correct your behavior. Because a man who cannot be corrected becomes dangerous. He becomes arrogant. He becomes blind. He becomes the man everyone talks about behind his back because nobody trusts him with the truth. A brotherhood built on fear is weak. A brotherhood built on truth is lethal in the best way. Strong, reliable, unbreakable. Now let's talk about the difference between correction and disrespect, because some men use truth as an excuse to be cruel. Correction is aimed at improvement. Disrespect is aimed at humiliation. Correction protects dignity while demanding change. Disrespect crushes dignity and calls it honesty. If your correction is mostly insults, you're not a leader. You're unstable. A real brother does not need to degrade a man to correct him. He can speak with strength and restraint. He can be firm without being dirty. That is mature masculinity, strength paired with control. Now I'm going to make this practical, because you need something you can use in real life. When you need to correct a brother, follow this sequence. First, check your motive. Are you doing this to help him or to feel superior? If it's ego, shut your mouth until you can speak clean. Second, choose the moment. Don't do it when he's surrounded by people unless it's a public offense that must be addressed. Prefer quiet, prefer direct, prefer man to man. Third, state what you saw. Specific behavior, specific pattern, no exaggeration. Fourth, state the cost. Tell him what that behavior is doing to his life, his body, his respect, his relationships, his future. Fifth, state the standard. Remind him what a man does. Remind him what he said he wanted. Remind him what the code requires. Sixth, state the next step, a minimum, a plan, a clear action. Seventh, follow up. Brotherhood is pressure over time, not a one-time speech. That's it. Simple, clean, effective. Now, a warning. Some men will hate you for this, not because you're wrong, but because you exposed something they were hiding from themselves. A man who is deep in weakness will try to make you the enemy. He will call you judgmental. He will call you harsh. He will call you too intense. Ignore it. Intensity is what builds men. Comfort is what destroys them. And if you lose a friendship because you told the truth, you didn't lose a brother. You lost a man who wanted permission to stay weak. A real brother will be angry for a moment. Then he will respect you for the rest of his life. Because later, when he looks back, he will realize you were the only one who refused to lie to him. That's the kind of brotherhood you want. Not a group of men who laugh together while their lives decay. A circle of men who sharpen each other. A circle of men who keep each other accountable. A circle of men who build. Because that is what men need right now. Men need truth. Men need standards. Men need correction. Not to be controlled, but to be forged. And if you want to lead, if you want real brotherhood, if you want to become the man others can rely on, then you don't just encourage your brothers. You correct them. Calm, direct, early, specific, with a path. And you accept the same in return. That is the code. That is leadership.